Hello guys, this is Vanderson from MadLabVFX. Today I'm gonna show how I created this Space Shuttle FX in Houdini and Blender. Let's check out the passes here. The first pass is the Space Shuttle itself, just a simple build. The second pass is just a logo. I create a MadLab Dynamics logo. Just a fancy logo over the top of the space shuttle. The next effect just a plasma from the jet. Plasma effect. The rocket itself with some glow in like fire, like a gradient fire from the smoke. This effect of fire is applied in the shader. And I create another pass without the emission of the fire, just a simple smoke with a motion blur, camera motion blur, and motion blur itself on the volume. The background cloud. This background cloud I created just using a simple cloud and scatter over a lot of points to make the background itself. Let's go inside the Houdini and see how I approach each layer of FX from the shot. This is the Houdini project. I create just a simple subnet to organize my project. Let's dive inside. The first node here, just a preparation from the geometry that I created in Blender. I just create some groups from here, nothing complicated. Instead of apply material for each object, I just grab the colors from the FBX itself from the Blender and I convert this to a color attributes here inside Houdini and save the file. And out there is nothing complicated. What I just need here is just rotate the spaceship and align into the center of the world. The next node here, I just animate the spaceship in the Y direction from the bottom here. Just a translate animation in the Y position with a small rotation. For example, let's see from the top. Oops. If you see from the top, there's a small rotation in Y. And I separate here a few pieces just to apply the fancy logo here. And I create a camera shake. Let's see the camera, I animate the camera. Let's visualize the space shuttle animation. I just create a camera shake, simple camera animation, nothing complicated. Using this node here, camera rig KL, and apply some camera shake here in the look at and the position nodes. Let's dive inside the first layer of effects, which is the cloud. Let's see here the result. Let's go back in the Houdini and see how I approach that effect. For the cloud, I just create a cloud generating node, create a cloud from that the sphere generation, create some noise here, apply another noise layer, create some ambient occlusion light here, transform it to the world, and save the file. That's the unique cloud I'm using in that background. For create that, where I need to position my clouds, I did the trick here. I just grab the first frame of the spaceship and the last frame of the spaceship, merge the both together. You have the start position and the final position, and create a bound here. From that bound, I create a tube. From that tube, I create a little mountain here. And I clip the front part here. You can see here. It's like I'm inside the tube and see the front part here. And I scatter a few points here. Like 150. From that tube generation here. I create an attribute p-scale for each particle, an attribute orient to make random rotations for each cloud. For visualization here, that's the background of the clouds with some different rotations and the scale. You can see here like a proxy representation where I have each cloud here. This is just for viewport preview, because we are going to instance each cloud using this node here, the reference cloud instance points in the Solaris, and apply the instance of this cloud here, cloud shape 1. Let's dive inside for see the render of the cloud. That's the inside the Solaris. Let's see the render. First, we grab the cloud itself and create these instancer nodes. Inside the instancer nodes, I just import that point cloud here. Just that. And after the instancing, I can see in the camera here, apply some karma material. Actually, just a simple pyro cloud. We can remove this, we don't need this. Just a simple pyro shader with some anisotropic and extension. I think this default value is for the cloud shader. Let's see the cloud in the camera. That's the cloud from the camera, just a viewport. There's a flicking, but this flicking is not affected the render itself. And apply some two lights here. Karma physical sky and the Karma dome light sky. With a cache node to make the motion blur of the camera. Let's see the result of this frame here. That's the result of the frame. It's a bit noisy, but you can clean up this noise after in the composition, in the Nuke. Let's see the result of the rendering. That's the final rendering with 100 frames. Now let's see other passes. The logo itself, just a fancy logo. Nothing complicated. Let's see from the camera position here. I just imported the spaceship and import that geometry here to apply the material. It's just a simple karma shader, unlit shader, just to make this logo here. In the spaceship build, I imported the same spaceship, apply the subdivision, apply the motion blur, import my camera, and apply my material here. Let's organize this material. Let's see. Delete the nodes we don't need any nodes this. Just that. I just using the noise image here to apply the noise from all the spaceship. The spaceship is not super real, but I representation using this noise here. I just apply this noise to entire ship, just to avoid the 3D aspect without any rust, any dirt. Apply the material using distant light, Karma physical sky, and the Karma sky dome light. The result of the render here from the frame. That's the result from the frame. And the animation of the spaceship is this here. Let's see the other passes of the rocket and the plasma. First the plasma here. Let's see how I created the plasma. Where does plasma here? We don't need any of these nodes. For the plasma, I imported the spaceship. Keep just the rocket here. Convert the rocket to the geometry. And I keep the small plasmas here, the small rockets. That's the position of the plasma, but let me check the plasma itself, how I created this node here. Let's dive inside. Let's remove the nodes we don't need here. First I create a circle, scatter some points on the circle, and I create some animation particles here. The fast moving particles. And I apply some p-scale density, reshape the particles to make more round. Compute velocity, rest, and noise to make more deformation. And convert this to a VDB, volume VDB, and save this cache here. And then I save around 100 frames and position one copy of each plasma here to the jet behind the space shuttle, which is this node here. Let me show. I think it's the node here. This, okay. I created this copies. Just a small jet and 3 big jets. That's it. Let's look at the result in the Karma. The result is here. Rocket plasma build. Just import the plasma. Just import the spaceship to make the mate. It's here. Apply some shader here, which is a simple pyro shader. We can delete these nodes, we don't need. Just a pyro shader with our gradient ready to white in between yellow. Cache the motion blur, apply some distant light. Apply the mate background to the spaceship. And that's the Karma render. Let's see the result of the frame. That's the result of the plasma. Let's see. The animation result is this. Using the mate shadow, the mate from the spaceship. Now let's see the rockets. How I create the plasma. Let's organize a little bit this node. It's okay. I just imported the animation of the spaceship. Just keep the rockets. Just keep the bottom rockets here. Let's see the camera. We just have that. I extracted the centroid from the both rockets and copy a sphere here, a noise sphere. Then I create some point velocity with a curl noise, and I create a pyro source for each sphere. Create a trail to multiply the offset to avoid the stepping. Instead of apply sub-steps to the pyro simulation, I prefer to enlarge the length of the trail to avoid stepping for each frame. For example, you can see here from the front view, between one frame to another, there's a little gap here, around here. Look at my mouse. In the next frame, there's a big gap here. To avoid this gap, I just create a trail, because in the between of the frame, there's no big gap. There's an overlap, which is cool to avoid the gap in the pyro simulation. I apply noise to density, I apply noise to temperature, and convert this to VDB, our emitter VDB, and create a pyro simulation here with the bounds is defined here. The result of the simulation is here. I apply disturbance, turbulence. Let's see some frame here. This is the beginning of the simulation. I apply more temperature, divergence to expand the gas here. More density. In the shape, I increase the disturbance and the turbulence, and reduce the buoyancy. I don't need the gas to go up faster. I just need the gas to expand faster instead of buoyancy faster. That's the final result here of this cache. Let's see just one frame. Is here. Let's see the camera. Let's advance a little bit. which is pretty cool. Let's see the rendering setup. Attention here because I rendered the two versions. One version with this fire, this gradient fire in the smoke, and another version without any fire, because I can mix this in the Nuke to blend the amount of fire that I need in the trail. Let's see, this is the setup. I imported the rocket, the trail smoke, I imported the space shuttle, merge together, because here I need to make the space shuttle a mate in the render. Camera, let's see the smoke without the fire. The material is just a simple density with this light brown color here. Apply motion blur, simple physical skylight, animate to the spaceship. Let's see the result of the smoke. That's the result of the frame. Let's see the animation again, which is pretty cool, with a high velocity, motion blur. Now let's see the other simulation with fire. This difference here is in the shader. The shader here, I'm using the enable fire with the intensity scale 10. Use the same Karma physical sky, mating the spaceship. Let's see the result. This shader here generates two passes here. The build itself and the AOV fire. This AOV fire is a separated render layer inside the XR. We can use that in Nuke and blend this with the non-fire version. For example, this we can blend that pass, fire pass, with the non-fire version of the smoke. That's it, guys, for the rendering. Let's see inside the Nuke how I composed that project. Here in the Nuke, just a pretty simple compositing. Let's see how I approach that. First, I create a constant to merge with the clouds. Let's advance the clouds here. I import the clouds, pre-multiplied. Apply some grade here to make it more bluish. Pre-multiplied back. And merge with this constant color. Import the rocket without any fire, the rocket trail. Pre-multiplied. Apply some correction here to desaturate the color. Apply back the pre-multiplier and merge back with the clouds. I import the spaceship. Make some color correction here. So just a simple color correction. Grade and merge with the smoke trail. Actually, I think this merge is different because the masking is inverted. I think we need to apply the smoke at the top. Let's do here. I need to apply the smoke at the top of the spaceship, not below. Let's see. Yeah, now it's correct. The logo, just a simple fancy logo animation. I merge with the white, shuffle color and multiply back to the rendering. Apply here just a vector field with LUT. I import the fire animation, the smoke fire animation. We can see here just a fire trail. Apply some glow and merge back to the rendering, to the compositing. Apply load the trail, the plasma trail here. Just create a color shift here. Make some glow and merge back to the spaceship. Here apply some vignette. And apply the noise. Guys, that's the result of the shot. This is a simple project. I created the model in Blender and entirely done in Houdini, Compositing and Nuke. Thank you guys. See you at my next video.